Okay, let us look at this, what we call, case dulu. Kita tengok dulu kat mana yang penting dekat sini. Di APC, A Plus Center or APC is the market leader providing English language proficiency in the country. Right, was built in 1980 and it is a franchise of the United States English Language Learning Center. Okay, so it's about 1,000 centers worldwide. APC centers have taught over 10 million students the best and the quickest way to learn English. And since it was open, APC has built a reputation as one of the best English language center outside the United States, including our country. So kalau dekat Malaysia, we have in KL, Penang, Kota Baru, Segamat and so on. Right. The Ministry approved APC of Higher Education as an institution of higher learning, and it also has approval from the Ministry to accept the international student. Okay, and suddenly there is recent government announcement on the importance of English language. Tuition centers and language centers are much sought after by parents, students and adult learners. So like the APC, many of these middles have been in existence for several years and offer modern and varied teaching techniques. Some offer small classes paying personal attention, while others use latest IT teaching methods. Okay, TV 2020, it is a 24 hours pay television station, now has a special channel for those who wish to learn English. And the channel has programs that cater for those who like to learn to understand and write and other voice communication. Language professors from well-known local universities host this program, and so far the response is very promotive. Numerous chat room website on the internet also offer cyber English language classes for free. Young Malaysians are attracted to this learning mode as they can learn at their own time and pace. Right, and retired, experienced English teachers are making a comeback as tutors and offering home tuition at attractive rate. Parents prefer them compared to sending their children to tuition centers, mostly conducted by a younger group of teachers and fresh graduate of various disciplines. So the management of APC is doing an industry competitive analysis using Porter's 5 forces model. Okay. So dekat sini, I'll guide you how you can answer this question, and I think this question is quite straightforward. Only a few things that maybe you need to consider here. Let us look at section A of the question. Briefly discusses the 4 key attributes of strategic management concerning APC. All right, this is very straightforward. The 4 key attributes is in your textbook. Right, the first one is directed towards overall organization goals and objective, where I discuss is very simple here, and this is not the full answer. It is only the outline, because you can discuss on your own based on the what we call a case given to you. All right, so when we discuss about directed towards overall organization goals and objective, we can discuss, or we can see that the effort must be directed to what is best for APC. So in this case, maybe the managers or the owners of APC or the franchisee need to take some action where it should look forward on the organizational goals and the objective. All right, as a total, but not just a single functional area, and it is must for the best interest of the overall firm. Okay. Later, we are going to look at this managerial motive. That's why you look here, not just a single functional area, but must for the best interest of the overall firms. Because sometimes managers have their own intention to progress the company or to work hard. So that's why we call adanya managerial motive there. So that's why we advise the company or the owner or the managers of the company must do something that based on the interest of the company lah. Bukan kita buat kerja tu tadi berasaskan kehendak kita secara personal. Okay. Even it is a win-win situation, but the priority should be given to your responsibility to the company. All right, so that is directed towards overall organization goals. Okay, maybe you can discuss a little bit more when we talk about goals and objective. Why we need to have this? Because it's to have the clear mind or clear direction for the employees and you yourself to look forward into the organizational goals. All right, and then if you look at the answer from the text, kalau key answer it is from the text. All right. The second thing that you have to discuss here is about includes the multiple stakeholders in the decision making. Kan? So maknanya what you need to do when you want to decide or make something or changes into the matters about the company. So maybe you have to consider the stakeholders of the company. Stakeholders, a lot of stakeholders here when you want to make a decision. For example, this is what we call suppliers, your clients, your customers semua tu, and even the government itself is one of the stakeholders for the companies. All right, so the managers, I think, need to be really look into it, not only focus on their own interests. So in order for the managers to be successful, they have to consider and include all the stakeholders. Sebab kenapa stakeholders ni penting kepada kita? Because through stakeholders, if you look at the stakeholders, for example, our clients, why we need to take care of the clients just because we want to create the loyal customers. We want to have a good customers and maintain the relationship with the customers. Okay, and if you look at this supplier, for example, in order for you to get this good price or relationship with the suppliers, in order for the suppliers to give you the priority to get the product first, the raw material first, then you need to have a small relationship with them because they hold the raw material. If you cannot get a good price and in a large quantity, so maybe this will disrupt your operation strategy. Yang tu. Okay, so that's why you have to consider other thing as well, macam line stakeholders, and in doing your decision making you have to look at the government rules, kan? Betul, kita mesti fokus juga, bukannya kita fokus only single stakeholders, but we have to look as overall. Alright, and another thing ialah tentang needs to incorporate short-term and long-term perspective here. Okay, you have to maintain both vision for the organisation, not only on the short term. Okay, you have to look at the benefit ataupun the pro and cons. If you do something bad, okay, then in future maybe it will affect in the long-term perspective. That's why whatever that you do, you have to present the right action that you have to do. So kalau kita lihat kita tak bolehlah fokus pada short term, janji kita berjaya sekarang, tapi nanti kalau kita langgar undang-undang dan sebagainya, kita akan ada impact in terms of the image of the company. Lepas tu sales for sure in the future, if you try to breach the rules and regulation, then therefore the sales will be declined, your turnover will be declined, because customers normally concerned about that particular thing. Kalau you sebagai pengeluar pun, kalau you tak provide, for example, pernah berlaku pasal toys yang tak selamat, toys berlaku tak selamat, the product that sell by them, at that time dia orang kena product recall. That's why the product recall exists, just to make sure that the customer happy, and you need to satisfy them. Alright, that's one thing yang you kena tengok lah, bukan sekadar short term but also the long term. Alright, so recognizes trade-off between efficiency and effectiveness. So the managers of this what we call APC have to look at the efficiency and effectiveness of the resources here. Okay, so you may discuss about the resources, whether the current resources is good enough for them, or they need to do or to copy or try to imitate the strategy used by others, and how they want to cope with what we call the current situation of the youngsters. You all like to go for YouTube, belajar dekat YouTube, lepas tu free kan dan sebagainya, tak perlu bayar. Okay, so then you boleh je go to online suka hati you at any time when you think that you want to learn, then you will study. So APC have to think about this and how we want to make that our lesson or APC lesson is effective. All right, so strategies is important for the company to remain exist. Kalau you belajar, you buat 671 case yang kedua, you may look at the whether the business is an attractive business or not. So you have to decide based on the quantitative and the qualitative factors there. So of course you will study the ratios yang kita belajar dekat dalam chapter 3 or 4. Okay, dan juga you kena lihat dari segi mungkin maybe if you want to discuss about the porters dan sebagainya, that is the qualitative factors yang you boleh consider on the general environment. Alright, so dekat situ kita boleh bincang banyak benda jugalah. Alright, that is in general, maknanya dia tidak trik sangat soalan yang ni sebab very straightforward. Discuss 4 key attributes. So whatever point you discuss here and you relates to this, APC dia akan dapat markah. Okay, itu saja yang berkaitan dengan. So since we have 4 and required from you 4, so each point will give you 2.5 marks. Selalunya student boleh dapat lah yang tu 8, 9 markah boleh dapat, tak ada masalah, very straightforward. Okay, and we now continue to section B. Employees and managers must strive towards common goals and objective. Why? Okay, support your answer with 3 reasons. So, kalau kat sini kita tengok kenapa employees dengan manager dia perlu ada common goal and objective. Kenapa perlu ada common goal dengan objective? It is actually more or less the same like why we need to have a vision, okay, and strategic goal, ataupun why we need to have a strategic planning. Okay, yang tu semua more or less the same sebenarnya, cuma cara you nak jawab tu yang akan menyebabkan dia berbeza-beza. Okay, so mungkin the first thing here is the goals and objective provide organization with a blueprint, alright, that determines a course of action and aids them in preparing for future changes, alright. Okay, so once you have the goal and objective, like what you have for the visions, okay, so that can be used and that can be blueprint for the company to determine a course of action, what you need to do, and aid them in preparing for future changes. Let's say something happen in the future, all right, or even now, then your plan can be changed and you have to look at the plan of action as well. So for example, maybe you need to have the immediate action for certain problems. Okay, macam kita mula-mula dengan pandemik hari itulah. So we plan to have something, let's say kita dah plan, kita nak ada achieve our target for this year is about katalah you as a manager, you plan and you inform your employee to have, okay, we target 5 million for this year. Suddenly, what happened? Pandemic berlaku kan. So macam mana kita nak achieve? So you as a manager or leaders in the company, you need to have the plan of action, immediate action. You have to prepare for the changes, right? So maybe you can look at that's why these what we call online businesses, dia jadi salah satu daripada distribution channel online punya business. Alright, so actually a goals can be defined as a future state that an organization or individual strive to achieve for each goal that an organization set. So sama jugalah, it also set objective, and objective is actually a short-term target with measurable results. So for APC, they need to have this short-term target with measurable result without any clearly defined goals and objective mentioned or discussed or informed to the employees. The organization or managers, I think, will have trouble to coordinate the activities and forecasting future event. Okay, so dekat situ kita boleh mention tentang APC. APC have to to discuss, to inform the employee. All right. So what is your vision? What is your intention for this year, for the short term, this year, at the end of the year, what are we going to achieve? And maybe for another 10 years, we plan to, macam UITM kita tengok kan, kita punya visi, short term dia apa, we have to achieve all the KPIs for the year, and we also have our plan in 5 years kan, kalau kita nampak strategic planning UiTM 2025 tu, dan dalam tu juga kita mengejar ranking dan sebagainya. Alright, kalau lah bos orang je yang fikir, bos tak bagi tahu dengan employee dan tak bagi tahu juga dengan student, kita war-warkan tu sebab kita tahu kita nak stakeholders aware about that, dan the stakeholders tu adalah you dan saya. Betul tak? So we have to work together. Kalau you pun tak nak belajar sungguh-sungguh, tak nak buat apa yang disuruh, so definitely we cannot achieve the target. To me, ataupun in the real life, kalau kita lihat, kalau pensyarah yang bermati-matian, lepas tu bos suruh itu suruh ini, sebab kita nak jaga periuk nasi, kita memang buat. Tapi if the student do not happy and do not orang kata take part in this planning, so nothing much can be done. Okay, so that's why UiTM ataupun any higher learning institution or any organisation yang sukses tu, memang leader tu pandai create, leader tu pandai direct the employees. Memang betul, kita tak nafikan, but we have to remember, you let's say one day become a leader, you have to remember that the employee actually help you very much in order for you to achieve that target. That is not your own work. Okay, you only direct je, you only planning je, yang buat kerja tu adalah orang lain, dan yang merealisasikan kejayaan tersebut, kalau UiTM, the student itself try very hard to try to graduate on time, try to achieve CGPA 3.5 and above. You tak tidur malam sampai putus urat kepala dan sebagainya, right? Just because not only for you, but at the same time you contribute very much to the university. Kan, yang tu yang I think the visa always asks us to help you lah. But when come to the contribution of other lecturers, maybe lecturer dia banyak contribute on papers dan sebagainya, but when come to graduate on time, CGPAs, ranking dekat atas semua tu, that is come from the student. Okay, that shows your participation. That's how we need to have the clear vision. What are we going to do? Sebab dulu kalau kita masih ingat lagi, mungkin you masa tu belum masuk universiti, masa kita ada Tan Sri Sahul yang selalu mewar-warkan untuk UiTM berada di mata dunia. Alright, that is a common goals. Kita nak tak nak, walaupun kita hanya insan kecil kat bawah ni, tak ada orang kenal kita pun dan sebagainya, tapi we part of it. Okay, the student is, hari ni kita boleh tengok UiTM adalah dalam ranking yang keberapa ratus ribu ke dan sebagainya. Tapi kalau we look at in particular faculty, kita tak, not bad kan, kita duduk dalam berapa ratus yang pertama. Okay, so that's how maybe our dean last time, the previous dean, yang dulu-dulu punya dean semua tu, they really work hard. Even now lah, mungkin dia orang tu bekerja, tak tidur malam saya rasa. Kalau yang lecturer kecil-kecil macam saya pun tak tidur sangat, apatah lagi bos-bos atas. Alright, so that is common goal and objective yang kita patut capai lah. The common goals tu memang penting. Alright, and another things yang kita boleh discuss here is goal affect individual performance through direct action and effort towards goal related. To me, it is good kalau you jadi leaders, because you want to produce leaders and entrepreneur here. Alright, you have to take consideration when you have a slow moving, let's say employee yang slow, yang tak ada semangat. You tahu bila you pergi kerja, nanti you muda lagi, dan katalah pakcik-pakcik yang kerja kat situ semua dah tua. Alright, yang paling senang saya selalu dulu share student, kadang-kadang dia tanya, dapat kerja bagus dekat TNB, you duduk dekat TNB, contohnya you are the officers, you are still young, and you punya subordinate tu semuanya orang yang dah tua-tua tau. You nasib you baik, you dapat masuk. Okay, tua-tua you pun you tetap muda lah dekat dia orang tu. Okay, so this student dia cerita dengan saya macam pakcik-pakcik tu marah dan sebagainya. Kau ni baru masuk kerja belagak macam mana apa semua. That's the experience of the youngsters. So bila kita masuk kerja, sikap hormat tu penting lah saya rasa. Okay, you walaupun you muda, kalau you ada skill, kalau you ada sikap hormat, pakcik kalah lah, I think. All the pakcik and makcik will kalah dengan you. Walaupun you muda. If you talk nicely to them, do not instruct them. That is how you want to win. Kita belajar dalam chapter 4. Ada saya discuss sikit tentang tu. Alright, so that is how you want to win them and ask them to also work together with you. Kalau you jadi boss, orang dekat bawah tu, pakcik-pakcik tu semua tak nak pergi betulkan lampu mentol semua yang ada kat jalan raya ni, you can't do anything. You tak boleh pergi pasang tu semua tu. You accounting punya graduates, you tak mampulah nak pergi tengok walaupun you mungkin ada kepandaian dari situ, tapi you tak ada kemahiran. Kita kena admit kita punya kekurangan. Kita jangan rasa kita boleh buat semua. Alright, so that's why we need each other actually. Alright, so kita kena hormat dengan dia orang. So walaupun dia tak ada qualification, tapi dia ada pengalaman yang banyak. Pakcik-pakcik tu semua ada banyak experience. Kalau dia pandai bidang dia, kita kena listen to them. The way how you communicate to them. Okay, nanti dia akan bagi you satu benda yang baik kepada you. Alright, so they will work, all these employees will work together with you to achieve whatever you request from them. They will work hard for you. Okay, that is. Tapi kalau you sombong, you masuk belagak dengan tie you, dengan baju you yang mahal, dia orang cuma pakai entah apa-apa baju. Dia orang kan kadang-kadang pakai uniform, tak boleh bergaya datang office datang tempat kerja, especially yang perempuan makcik-makcik kerani tu, anak dah ramai dan sebagainya. Lepas tu you arah dia, you need to be good to them, and it is easier for you to win their heart. Okay, and that is important because you need to lead them to the company goals. That's how you play roles with the ethics. Ethics yang kita dah belajar dululah. Okay, tapi kita orang Melayu biasanya mak ayah kita dah ajar kita daripada kecil. Alright, that is something campur-campur lah yang tu Okay, and I think identify the strength and weaknesses of APC. Hopefully by now you dah mahir dah tentang SWOT analysis, the strength and weaknesses. Saya tak minta the whole thing, but I request only the strength and weaknesses here. So maybe you can say the strength here has been approved by the ministry. That is quite a good strength, very strong strength. Itu maknanya ministry approved. And then they ada good reputation, okay, and they have a lot of branches, okay. Cuma mungkin kalau when come to the weaknesses, dia tak ada yang tenaga pengajar yang current, okay, yang knowledgeable. Kalau mungkin you nak kata dia currently, the company tak fokus kepada competitive punya reaction tu di industri, yang tu bolehlah kalau kita nak tahu, sebab kita tak nampak sangat dia punya weaknesses, tapi kita tahu dia masih lagi mungkin tak begitu up to date, tak begitu up to date. So maybe sepatutnya dah boleh buat website company dia, institution dia dan sebagainya. So dia still style dia masih style lama, so that's why that can be considered as the weakness of the APC. Alright. Okay, and then D. Discuss the effect of the recent government here. Okay, kalau kita lihat dekat dalam case ni, saya rasa saya open a different file kot. Okay, never mind. Kita tengok dekat sini apa yang dia tanya. The effect of recent government announcement concerning the gender environment segment. Alright. So, let us look at the demographic factors here. Apa yang kita boleh bincang tentang demographic factors untuk APC sini? Alright, demographic dia berkaitan dengan apa? Aging population. Lagi tentang apa ya?
Geographic.
Geography lagi? Boleh tengok.
Aging population.
Aging population. Lagi?
Income
Aging
level.
tadi sudah sebut dah. Income level, alright. Apa lagi? Geographic distribution tadi kan? Rising affluence rising affluence. Okay, kalau kita lihat dekat dalam case ni, when come to demographic factors, what can you discuss here? Alright, demographic factors, let's see, we want to look at the aging population. Okay, the APC open the centers is I think in Kuala Lumpur, right? Kuala Lumpur, Penang, Kota Baru, Segamat, Ipoh, Kuching and Kota Kinabalu. That is the where the a popular place, and I think quite a lot people staying there, and this give a good impact to the center, right? Okay, so I think aging population, young people stay around here. Ni semua bandar besar kan? Betul tak? Kalau kita lihat sini, sebab this is the where population, I think maybe the range of the age, I think not all people lah, ada jugalah yang old people, tapi mostly KL, Penang ni semua young people where they have their children together with them, and they will send their kids for the English language center. Alright, so if you discuss about the demographic factors in terms of the aging population here, maybe the ALC ataupun APC will get good customers in terms of numbers because of the aging population. Alright, and kalau dekat this urban area, of course you akan ada a good demand, because all of us think about the future of our kids, for example. Okay, they don't worry much about the payment because they normally being employed by a good organisation. So maybe you can relate on the rising affluence, and on these areas semuanya kebanyakannya ialah developed area, and people there will have no problem to contribute or pay the charges of this, what we call APC charges lah. Alright, so itu yang kita mungkin boleh relate to the rising affluence ataupun aging population. Alright, dan mungkin juga kalau you nak discuss in terms of income level, okay, this is the center where open in this good area. Okay, kita boleh kata maknanya income level people here should be good, okay, if compare APC open in the kawasan pendalaman dan sebagainya, tu mungkin itu akan menimbulkan masalah lah. Tapi apa yang dia pilih dekat sini semua dekat bandar besar yang dia rasa boleh memajukan company dia lah, ataupun boleh dapat student lah, right? Okay, so itu when come to the income level. Tapi bila nak jawab soalan, mungkin soalan hanya 10 markah. So for this demographic 5 marks, and you need to give 2 point. Alright, you have to give 2 point here, and maybe kalau you ambil aging dengan rising influence ataupun the income level. Okay, changes of ethnic boleh juga kalau you nak discuss, dia tak mention kat dalam ni, tapi by logic kalau dekat bandar besar kita ada mix of ethnic composition, betul tak? A good composition, sebab banyak semua bangsa ada dekat bandar besar. Kita dekat kampung-kampung yang ada spesifik tak ramai, ada macam penduduk tu berbeza sikit kan. Kampung tu macam kampung Melayu je semua. Kita asing, ada kampung Cina, ada kampung India, dia ada kawasan-kawasan dia. Tapi kalau dekat bandar, I think berbeza sikit. Alright, that is when it is related to demographic factors. Okay, kalau soalan ni sebenarnya dia tanya tadi, discuss the effect of the recent government announcement. So government sekarang dia punya announcement ialah apa? Dia announce tentang the important. This is actually a few years ago punya soalan. Okay, mana kerajaan masa tu announce balik nak gunakan bahasa Inggeris semula. Alright, so where the recent government announcement on the importance of English language, tuition centres and language centre are much sought kan. So maknanya bila saja government announce tentang the importance, or maybe they will look into it, where they want us to practice and to have this English language center, so the benefit goes to this company, betul tak? So kalau kita lihat tadi kita nak bincang tentang rising affluence. So parents don't have any problem. So once the government announce, then most of the parents will look for the center. Okay, ramai-ramai nanti akan cuba cari dan start looking for the classes and so on. Ini akan membantu penambahan increase-nya numbers of student in this academy ataupun dekat this institution center. Alright, so that is actually due to the recent government announcement. So that should be mentioned in the case lah bila you jawab in your answer. Alright, so itu berkaitan dengan rising affluence ataupun income level pun boleh jawab sama. So maknanya disebabkan oleh parents, student and adult learners will look for the opportunity to go to the tuition center and start to focus on the English language since the government required that. Okay, itu disebabkan government announcement tadi. Okay, dan mungkin dia tanya juga kita tentang apa lagi satu tadi, the social cultural segment. Alright, so the social cultural segment tadi tu berkaitan dengan lifestyle. Betul tak, lifestyle? So nowadays kalau dulu mungkin mak ayah saja yang ajar dekat rumah, but nowadays we normally send our children to the tuition centers since the government announced the importance of English language. So I think the parents will look for the centers and let them to have a proper learning situation. Okay, kalau kita pakai YouTube semua tu boleh, tapi kita tak ada cikgu kat depan suka hati kita. Kalau dia suruh anak dia pun, kalau anak dia tak study, kita tak tahu, right? Okay, kita tak tahulah. So maybe by sending them to this center, nanti the kids will have a proper education system lah. Alright, so by the announcement punya government announcement tadi, so we can conclude that it can increase the turnover of the company or numbers of students, and this will lead to the good revenue of the institution. Alright, so other thing maybe a greater concern for the environment. Boleh juga kita guna untuk kat sini because parents always concerned about their kids punya education, right? So they don't have any problem to pay in whatever amount normally. Okay, dan dia akan fokuslah pada apa yang government minta. So that's why the concern also helps this APC to increase the performance dia ataupun increase dia punya sales, increase dia punya income dan sebagainya. When the student increase, number of student increase in the institution, come to the institution, so it will help APC to keep moving and this will solve the problem of sustainability of the APC. Alright, so actually this announcement give what we call a positive impact to APC. Alright, that is how you discuss little bit on this. You boleh tambah lagi lah ya, ada macam-macam lagi. Alright, and that is about this gender environment tadi. Apa lagi soalan ni tanya? Analyze two competitive environment process using Porter's 5 forces model. Okay, kalau kita lihat pada model Porter's, mungkin you boleh bincang tentang threat of new entrant in this situation. Okay, threat of new entrant, you can discuss about the what we call a newcomers into the industry. Alright, so maybe kalau dalam case ni dia tak ada mention sesiapa yang just join, alright, but you can see that whether it is high trend of new entrant or low, it based on the industry itself. So if you think that the industry is a good industry and it loved or liked by all the people outside there to open the institution or tuition center, so maybe you can see that it is a high trend. Okay, lepas tu kalau dia high trend due to what? Okay, maybe due to a few reasons. So why you see that it is high trend? Of course, there are the low entry barrier. Then you have to discuss about the entry barrier tadi. So what are the entry barriers in this situation? Maybe the new entrant, if they want to enter into the industry, they need the capital to start. So whether it is high or low, it depends pada you. Kadang-kadang you rasa buka tuition center dengan fee, dengan modal yang kecil je dah boleh buka. Tapi kalau you nak buka high level punya tuition center, maybe you need huge capital, and then it contradict to the threat tu tadi. You have to remember, kalau you kata dia high threat, then it should go to lower entry barrier, and when it's low entry barrier means the capital requirement is low. Itu kena ingat. So maknanya your justification sepatutnya tidak salah lah, sebab kalau you kata dia high, mesti dia entry barrier low, dan kenapa you kata low, sebab dia adalah low capital requirement. So itu bergantung kepada apa yang you lihat. Macam tuition center, we can have a different judgment. Alright, maybe some people think that you need huge capital. Kalau you nak beli building, you nak pasang aircon semua dan sebagainya, so small market player, for example a small businessman want to enter into the industry, dan dia dah tak boleh lah nak masuk sebab itu tak mampu lah. Mungkin you need few 100,000 kan. Okay, it's considered high. Alright, so you akan sebut dalam discussion you high entry barrier. Okay, jadinya low threat. Okay, so kenapa high? Sebab dia melibatkan kos yang tinggi untuk you mula, untuk new entrant enter into the industry. Okay, and maybe you want to discuss a switching cost. Switching cost here, it may be for you to discuss about the client itself, to switch from other company, good company to new company. Okay, kalau dia tak incur apa-apa, then at any time saja dia boleh switch to another school or institution, and therefore this consider a low entry barrier, kan? Sebab low switching cost. Okay, kalau lah katakan this center only available dekat KL je, ataupun dekat US saja, tak ada pun dekat Malaysia, but you know about it, and then you want to go to that institute. Okay, jadinya kita tak boleh lah, dia akan incur high switching cost. Customer will incur high switching cost. Alright. Dan switching cost ni juga sebenarnya you boleh discuss kalau you nak cerita tentang the company itself when come to the exit barrier. Alright, the exit barrier. Yang itu you kena ingatlah, that is from the view of the companies. Okay, another reason you may discuss here, kalau kita cerita tentang a threat of new entrants tadi, maybe you akan nampak selain daripada high capital requirement or the switching cost, okay, maybe you need to comes in with the product differentiation, kan. So kalau kita nak win the loyal customers of APC, for example, it is quite difficult, because if we cannot provide the customers ataupun the buyer, okay, ataupun clients or student in this case with differentiation from APC, nanti dia akan jadi kita punya students tak minat pun nak datang dekat kita sebab sama je, and then you dah selesa dengan APC, so you don't want to change to new center, kan. Sebab apa, kalau kita tengok tuition center ni, especially parents, dia based on performance of the teachers itself, kan, based on the center itself. Dah lama dah center tu, dah banyak dah student dia graduate and good, dia dapat masuk college yang bagus-bagus dan sebagainya, so normally they will stay with that. So unless you as a new entrant, you enter with a special or package. Okay, maknanya you comes in with the differentiation strategy. Differentiation strategy tu maksudnya you explain lah sikit. Okay, apa beza you dengan APC yang mungkin boleh. So dari segi ni mungkin kita akan kata the threat will be lower, because normally it is very difficult for new entrant to enter with differentiation strategy. Unless dalam soalan ada sebut dia masuk dengan differentiation strategy, therefore jawapan you akan berubah. Okay, so if the company ataupun any new institution it comes in with differentiation strategy and something, kalau kita nak relate dengan chapter 5 nanti, and enter with low cost strategy, low cost depreciation strategy. Therefore, it is going to be high trend of new entrant to APC. Dia berbeza. Okay, sekarang ni kita jawab dengan tanpa knowledge kita yang banyak untuk business level strategy. Okay, so that is basically on trade of new entrant. Mungkin another factors ataupun forces yang kita boleh lihat kat sini ialah competitive action. Competitive what we call among the rivalry. Kenapa rival dekat sini? Apa yang kita nak kata? Siapakah rival kepada APC sekarang dalam kes ini? Kita boleh nampak rivalnya ialah ada tuition center, lepas tu ada lagi cikgu disebut kat dalam tu yang just came back from the yang baru retire, betul tak? And then we have the 24 hours channel TV 2020, and we also have what else apa benda yang disebut dekat case tadi tu, ada lagi professors kan yang mengajar online dan sebagainya. Alright, so that is consider our competitors, right? So what we can see here, is it high competitive? Is it competitive dekat dalam cerita ni? Apa yang you nak conclude dari segi ni? You rasa macam mana? Ada stiff competition atau tidak?
Ada.
Hi.
High Okay, saya rasa pun high lah. That's why lah dia ada masalah. Betul tak? Kalau tak, dia tak ada lah masalah sebab high lah tu. Okay, so katalah intensity of competitive rivalry is high. Bila high tu? Kalau you dah tengok buku dan sebagainya atau you dah baca, hopefully you dah baca ya. Alright, so we look at this number of competitors itself. If a lot of competitors in the market, if you see a lot of competitors in the market, so maybe you can see that high intensity of rivalry. Alright, maybe you look at the fixed cost. Kalau fixed cost tu tinggi juga untuk dia run di institution, alright, so it considers a stiff juga high rivalry. It's a intensity of rivalry. Kemudian apa lagi yang kita akan lihat? Exit barrier. Paling senang you nak mention ialah tentang exit barrier. You know why? Kalau manufacturing ataupun institution like this, kalau you nak exit or you want to switch to another businesses, maknanya you nak exit from the industry, you nak keluar daripada education line. Suddenly APC ni nak tukar. Okay, tak naklah, nak compete susah lah dan sebagainya. I have to try another business. Alright, it is quite difficult. If you want to leave the industry or you want to exit from the industry, kita dah spend so much money for that. Kita bukan baru buat semalam, kita dah spend a lot of money to develop our image, good names of the school ataupun institute tadi. Alright, so we have done so much thing. So normally kalau you dah buat banyak sangat, then you already incurred a lot of money during the establishment tadi tu dan sebagainya. So therefore it is not good for you to leave the industry. Okay, so therefore dia akan menyebabkan orang kata stiff competition. You know why? You cannot exit. Kalau tak exit, apa jadi? You have to stay in the industry. Tapi takkan kita nak biar je orang pijak kita kan? Ataupun kita nak biar kerja cukup makan ataupun nasi rugi je. We cannot afford to do that. Alright, so nak tak nak, what you need to do, you have to fight. You have to do something, okay, in order for you to remain competitive. So that's why normally company respond. Semua company macam tu, unless memang tak berdaya langsung, you akan tutup lah, you stop your business. Tapi kalau boleh, selalunya company dia akan cuba buat sedaya upaya dia. And in Malaysia for example, kalau you tengok pada SMEs and so on, the government always help the SMEs to remain exist. Kita tak nak baru buka lepas tu tutup, buka tutup dan sebagainya, because you tak cukup ketahanan untuk bertahan tadi. You have to be creative, macam pandemik lah. Kalau kita tak kreatif hari tu, tak guna, siapa yang boleh guna online, maksudnya boleh berniaga secara online, tapi ramai yang tak take the opportunity. Tapi yang bijak sikit, dia kreatif sikit, so they switch daripada kedai, dia buka kedai, dia masak dekat rumah dan dia jual. Makanan memang mudah lah, because masa dah boleh deliver dan sebagainya, kita selalu beli kan. Dan since then ada banyak lagi yang bila dia dah buka dan sebagainya, most of them continue to have this online punya business. So dekat situ menyebabkan you tak perlu exit, because if you want to exit, kalau you pakcik jual nasi lemak, it's okay, no problem. You hanya mungkin rugi tong gas, kuali dan sebagainya. Itu tak kisah sangat kan. Small maknanya the small capital, but the exit barrier tu, kalau high exit barrier, it will stop you from exit. For example, you have spent so much money, dah million ringgit. Okay, sebab itu kalau you tengok semua fast food, hanya certain fast food saja yang kalau kita tengok yang franchise yang tutup dulu disebabkan, especially kita boleh discuss tentang McDonald at one time, last time dia terpaksa tutup. Kalau you pernah pergi Ion, iCrow sebagainya, ada few outlets yang diorang tutup just because of too many McDonald. Dulu dia orang tak risau sangat, okay? Tapi just because yang isu halal dulu sekejap tu yang ada bukan halal, itu berkaitan dengan Palestin ke apa, saya tak tahu kan, yang dia orang boycott, they don't want to buy all these things. Alright, and McDonald really got no customers, and one of the outlet or two outlet in Melaka, I think they have to close down. Okay, that is because they have to. Dia memang dah tak boleh buat apa. Tapi basically kalau you tengok rata-rata franchise, kenapa dia tak exit from the industry? Kenapa dia tak keluar? Once they enter into the business, dia tak boleh nak lepaskan, just because the high exit barrier. You spend 1-2 million ringgit, then you want to leave, then if you want to sell pun susah juga, kecuali ada yang interested buyer lah. Alright, so it is quite difficult. That's why kalau you tengok manufacturer yang besar-besar, nak tak nak dia akan still produce something. In order for them to continue their business, because they cannot exit the industry. Lepas tu kalau manufacturer, you just imagine, dia orang kan beli mesin bukannya murah. Kalau dia dah operasi untuk 30 tahun, untuk 20 tahun, maybe tak apalah dia dah pulang modal. Tapi kalau dia baru je beli mesin dan sebagainya, alright, and then dia incur di high tech punya cost, mungkin dia ada expertise and so on. So to leave the industry, it is quite difficult. Okay, so maybe in this situation, kalau kita relate to the APC case, dia memang tak nampak sangat dia ada ni, tapi dia dah ada center dia dah ada semua kelebihan yang dia ada, nama dia dan sebagainya. Tapi kalau dia nak tinggalkan industri tu, we think that it is not suitable for the APC lah. So might as well dia continue and fight back di current situation. So due to others, kalau kita nampak when we discuss the competition among the rivalry tadi tu, kita boleh nampak akan ada stiff competition, because APC will respond back, and the other party, the other market player, maybe TB lah dan lain-lain lah, profesor ke cikgu ke dan sebagainya, will continue to develop a new response. Okay, dia orang semua akan respond. And then since the market is so huge for this, I think the competition tu memang stiff, but they can survive. Kalau dia ada good lecturers ataupun good teachers and so on, dia boleh remain, exist in the long run. Yang itu berkaitan dengan competitive environment lah. Kalau kita discuss, that is the most suitable one if you want to discuss with this case. Okay, itu yang ada untuk kes ni. Alright, saya rasa saya salah buka ni. Tak apalah, hopefully you can jot down whatever that I mentioned here. Alright, mungkin nanti you dengar balik lah you punya video ya.
Okay, doktor.